It's been a little while since we've taken a look at this bottle and can wall in what will become the shop office, and I just thought I'd do a little bit of update. I've got most of the walls pretty well covered in now, so at least when winter comes on there won't be wind and snow blowing in through this back wall, so it's going to be a whole lot nicer this winter, even if I don't get it completely finished. But there's a chance that before winter I will have at least the structural parts, all the cans, all the bottles, and hopefully the scratch coat of plaster on here so it looks a little bit more finished. I doubt that I'll have the floor done or the ceiling or any of that kind of stuff, but it is getting there. Now my goal for today is to simply get something that will support the adobe and the bottle and can work above this arched window. Now the first thing I probably ought to do is explain what this arched window is all about and why it looks the way it does. Well, first I wanted some kind of a window. The bottles really make for interesting light, but you can't see out through the bottle, so I wanted something I could actually see out of. And this space I'm standing in will be a little desk area that I can sit and do some paperwork or keep notes on customer projects, things like that. So this seemed like an ideal place for a window. This kidney-shaped window is actually the glass top from an antique coffee table that finally just started to fall apart. The legs were broken and it just was not worth salvaging and repairing, but the glass was still in good shape. So I'm going to set that into the adobe, and that is going to be my window. It's about 1/4 inch thick, so it's a nice heavy piece of tempered glass. If it ever breaks, I'm going to be in real trouble because I have no idea how I'd replace it. And of course, setting the cans and the bottles at the bottom edge are easy because they just sit on the concrete wall. But as you go up around the sides, you lose some support, and of course there is nothing at the very top that is going to support anything, and this is where I need to create some sort of a support structure. And my plan is to start with this expanded metal lath. People call it razor lath because it tends to be pretty sharp. So you got to handle it pretty careful, but I think I'll cut a piece of this to fit. It's pretty easy with a pair of tin snips. These cut edges are where you really have to be careful though. And if I figured this out right, this fold should go up next to the posts and give it something to nail to the posts, which will make this a whole lot stronger. I can nail this up to the framing, and that will be my first point of attachment. Should hold that in place, and I've trimmed it a little bit here, but I don't want to trim it right to the window. This is going to be my ledge at this point. Actually down here I think I'm going to cut this out because it doesn't need a ledge as much. So this part that I've left long here over the window, I'm going to just trim. And I'm going to fold it up, and this is going to be my ledge. I'm going to take this piece I cut off and run it under that for extra support. Hope all this works. And of of course, a structure like this calls for a little bit of baling wire to help hold everything together. I think the only other thing I'm going to do to this today is mix some Portland cement and some sand and put maybe an inch and a half layer of cement on there so that it has a good solid surface for when I come back with the adobe and the cans and the bottles and things like that. So it's not going to be a whole lot of work today, but it's a very necessary step. Otherwise, gravity isn't my friend in this situation. This will not be some mathematically perfect cement mix here. But it is also not really structural. It will be just fine. Plus I used up that old bag of Portland cement that I've been dying to get rid of. As long as I don't get it too wet. I want to leave enough room here so I can get some of the adobe over the top of it when I actually set the cans and bottles. So I don't want to make this too thick. Just enough to give it some rigidity. So this is certainly not your typical mortar or mason's mix that has some lime in it. This is typically very cement-rich mixture of sand and cement along with lots of steel reinforcing. Is typically referred to as Ferro cement and is something you might find being used to build water tanks and things like that. Because of all the reinforcement, it's less likely to crack like concrete and it's not as soft and crumbly as regular mortar. So I think for this use, this is going to be the better way to go. But that's all I want to do for this right now. I want that to dry so I've got a nice solid ledge to build up from in the next step. And then one more day and I ought to be able to have this window pretty much roughed in. It'll still need finished plaster and all that. But as long as I've got extra cement and sand mix, I'll work on the can wall that will become a battery box when I finally get solar power set up here in the shop. I just build this up when I ever have materials available. And about the time I get done with everything else, it should be done too. Although it may become a priority before too long just to get it done and put a top on it and have the bench seat finished. This is a little loose and runny, but it will dry just fine. I also think sometimes it's easier to just use your hands. This straw bale that's over here is just there to mix with the adobe mix because the adobe could use some straw. Just being stored here. putting the cans in, alternating which end the opening goes on, and that forms my lath then when I do the finished plaster coat on this wall. That's just a little update on the bottle and can walls going in behind the shop. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, I'd appreciate it if you give it a thumbs up, and I'd love it if you hit that subscribe button. Feel free to stick around, watch a few of my other videos. I'm going to try and start posting more videos over in this channel, little short videos like this, just let you know what I'm doing. But anyways, I hope you have time in your day to get out and do something fun, enjoy life, work on some projects, be creative, and we will see you for the next video.